Topics. Let's go! Hot topics are on the table with Whoopi, Sarah Haynes, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
A week after Kim Kardashian went to the Oval Office to ask that great-grandmother Alice Johnson be granted clemency for a nonviolent drug offense, Johnson walked out of prison after 22 years and had a tearful reunion with her family. You know, and we know that lots of people have been trying to bring this to the attention of someone to help get this woman out. And so does Kim Kardashian deserve some credit for helping to make this happen?
I think she deserves a lot of credit. Even the family gave her that credit. Yeah. Sometimes I know there have been a lot of people working on this, and it was an organization. Kim actually saw their video on Twitter. But just like anybody fundraising, there's always they always bring in a name of some form to give it a little push, even if that's why people tune in. A lot of people listened, including President Trump, because Kim brought it in. So I think this is an instance where she used her platform and educated herself, and I say bravo.
But Kim also has 112 million followers on Instagram and 60 million on Twitter. So, you know, if he's thinking of running again, he's got that nice little constituency over there. So this is not an accident that Kim had influence on him. And good for her. I agree with that. But he has motives. He has motives.
Well, he probably does have motives, but I agree with you, Sarah. I think it's really important that prison reform take place, and if it takes Kim Kardashian meeting with the president to get that done, it's a wonderful first step. There are 110 case studies right now of people serving life in prison without the possibility of parole for non-violent drug offenses. 110 lives. And even though I was a prosecutor during the times of the mandatory minimums and the sentencing guidelines, it was always something that bothered me. It takes all the discretion away from judges, and it's really a living death for those people for non-violent offenses.
Right.
I think it just shows the power and importance of showing up and taking a meeting, as we have said and talked about on this show, that there's a lot of people who won't even meet with Trump for all these reasons. Kim, I think I read that she didn't want to smile in the photo because she wanted to make sure that she showed that she was taking it very seriously and not necessarily supporting him. And I think it just shows the power of showing up and having a conversation, which I wish we were doing more of. And she 100% deserves majority of credit on that.
He loves
and I think it also, you know, we should, as you said, you know, really take a look at what's happening in federal prisons, because the population started falling for the first time in decades under O. But there are concerns that there are a lot of rollbacks happening. Like last May, Jeff Sessions ordered prosecutors to charge as aggressively as possible, even in cases of nonviolent offenders. And he's called sentencing reform and correction, the Sentencing Reform and Corrections Act, which would reduce some mandatory minimum sentences, a grave error. So while this is brilliant, there is still a much bigger issue.
It is, especially under the leadership of Jeff Sessions. I have many friends that were career prosecutors within the Justice Department that have left because of his mandate, which is prosecute this war on drugs. We know that that did not work. It ended up in cases like Alice Johnson and the 110 other people that are really living a death sentence. And I hope that this somehow reached the president and he understands this prison reform that Jared Kushner, I believe, has been working with him, really needs to happen. Maybe it is a dream, but I'm so hopeful.
He just loves celebrities. Isn't he taking Dennis Rodman to the Korean summit with him? I mean, he loves a celebrity.
Yeah, but this...
But Dennis would have gone in. Dennis would have been there no matter what. I mean, he's friends with Kim Jong. You know.
But this woman got her life back, and you look at this family and the video of them, and you just say this, even though you could say it's a small step, it's one entire life, and like she's back with her family where she should be. She possibly, arguably, overserved her time, and
well, I mean, life. They gave her life
without parole.
Without parole, non-violent drug offense, life.
Yeah.
that's like you're never getting out of it. Life.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are offenders and then there are offenders. And we have to sort of remember how to balance this because this is people's lives in the balance. Now, speaking of which, Rudy Giuliani weighed in on what the First Lady thinks about Stormy Daniels' claim that she had an affair with her husband. Here's Rudy Giuliani's take on it.
She believes in her husband. She knows it's not true. I don't even think there's a slight suspicion that it's true. Excuse me, when you look at Stormy Daniels, look at his 3 wives. Right? Beautiful women, classy women, women of great substance. Stormy Daniels. I'm sorry, I don't respect a porn star the way I respect a career woman or a woman of substance.
Oh, please, give me a break.
I have so many things to say, so just bear with me.
You go first.
First of all, I just want to say that we interviewed Stormy Daniels on the show, and James Comey and Michael Avenatti all within a day of each other, and I found her by far the most credible and well-spoken.
Right.
So I just want to say that first and foremost. There's no reason anyone should question this woman's credibility. Number 2, Mayor Giuliani was divorced 3 times, married his second wife, Donna Hanover, dating his first wife. He held a press conference announcing he and Hanover were separating. It goes on and on. Spent years estranged from his kids, married his first cousin, or excuse me, his second cousin in his first marriage. Let's calm with the moral judgments on people's industries.
Wait, I want to add something.
Can I just say one more thing? So I just want to say one more thing. I have friends who work in the sex industry. I wrote a book called America, You Sexy Bitch, where I shadowed a strip club with Sapphire, with a bunch of wonderful women that I became friends with. One of them is a woman named Daisy Delfina. I was messaging with her about this, and I felt like it was worth reading her quote. She said, "Sex work is work, and like any other business, it's bad with laws criminalizing consensual transactional sex. He just sounds like the typical cheap blank that can't afford our services."
I have one more little factoid. Apparently, I didn't even know this. Apparently, in 1994, 2000, and 2003, Trump made cameo appearances in several softcore Playboy skin flicks. Trump himself did, yes.
What?
That's what my research says.
You deep dove on that.
And he appeared on a Playboy magazine cover in 1990. So Rudy, you better get your act together.
Oh, God.
When you have no credible, necessarily contrary points, and this is all playing out still, then you have to discredit the witness. Isn't that what you do?
I can't get that visual out of my head.
I also think that they're scared of Stormy Daniels. Why is this suddenly coming around?
Stigmatizing of people in the sex industry, which is a huge cultural problem. It is legal. It's consensual. By the way, the only industry where women make more money than men. Okay?
They make a lot of money.
So can we stop with the judgment on her profession?
How much did Trump get paid for doing those soft?
Whatever he got paid, clearly it wasn't enough. But here's the deal. You know what? In the old days, fathers took their sons to houses so they would be taught by women how to make love and how to have sex with folks. And nobody seemed to have a problem with that. We've always had women who worked and worked on the streets. A lot of them have put their kids through college. They have had incredible lives, gone on to do all kinds of stuff. So the mere fact that you would make such a blanket statement about someone you don't know who does something you seemingly know nothing about seems kind of shocking. And after all this information that just came out,
that's some information.
I feel like
he needs a researcher.
I feel like you need to grow up.
Yeah, well.
Grow up. We'll be right back.
Still ahead, acting governor. Cynthia Nixon is using Sex and the City swag to attract voters. Could this be a big turnoff? If you are in the white-hot center of the news, this is where you come to voice your view.
Character matters. Truth-telling matters.
Women are not going to be silenced. They're not going to be intimidated. They are going to speak their truth.
Because this is the only place in daytime.
This is the interview that meant the most to my wife, so thanks for...
taking on the newsmakers.
What I do for a job doesn't impact my ability to know right from wrong or to tell the truth.
We're The View.
I take such pride in the idea that the president watches our show.
He sure watches the show.
Hello. On ABC. Cable.
It's the, welcome back. Megan and I are opening a strip club. Just kidding. You know, apparently social media sites...
I have a name for that.
I can't wait.
I do.
Can you say it?
I don't think I can say it on air.
All right.
Blank and grits, and it rhymes with blank.
Yeah, I got you.
You got it.
It'll be fat.
Ooh,
Yeah.
funny, right?
Yeah, that would be good.
I don't get it yet.
Yeah. We'll call you after it opens.
Okay.
Social media sites like Instagram seem to be creating even bigger bridezillas because it's adding more pressure for weddings to look picture perfect. Some women say they don't mind being called a bridezilla. I don't understand what I'm saying here. I don't know what I'm talking about, but would you mind?
You're saying basically that exhibition is on the rise and that social media gives a forum for people to say, look at me, look at me. They even say
Is this new?
in this
Information?
Well, the wedding itself is partly like that, but then this is like it reaches out to the millions.
Yeah.
Well, I think also it's kind of like don't blame it on Instagram. If you're the type of person that is going to make it about the wedding day and not every day after, it doesn't matter what your social platform is. It doesn't even matter what region you're from, which the study breaks down. You're just either that person or you're not.
Yeah.
But are they saying it's a bad thing to...
So it's saying are people embracing bridezilla, which I think is nothing to embrace.
I mean,
that means you're truly hyped up on just the day.
Just the day.
And wedding.
Right, but I'm sorry. I thought that you were supposed to be really excited. I thought the bridezilla part came during the preparation for it.
That's what they're saying
is
preparation for the wedding.
Things like the vows are not as important as the hair.
Yeah,
for example.
I mean the majority of
But
brides.
we've known that for years.
But it shouldn't be that way. The majority of brides across the country say that picture-perfect hair and makeup are more important than the vows.
But why is this a surprise? Listen,
terrifying.
people shoot their food. They take pictures of their food. I mean, why is this a surprise? I mean, that's why I don't understand that people say, well, oh, damn.
Well, you know,
really?
what's the word? I was the reverend of a gay wedding.
Yes, I was there.
I officiated a gay wedding. Whoopi was there.
Oh, nice.
Carl and his husband. And they were totally into the vows.
Yes.
They were. It was all about what they were saying and not the suit they were wearing. So if you really mean it, it's about the vows.
When people fight for the right to get married, they don't take it for granted.
I think wedding planners exacerbate this, though. You know, when I got married so quickly, and I love social media, but I'm not high maintenance at all. When it took me like 2 days to find the dress, and I was like, I just want to get onion rings and a beer. I don't care about any of this. And my wedding planner was like, what about the napkin? What about the glass? And I was like, you're a professional. You're great at this. I gave you our theme. Please stop asking me. And I was the worst bride ever because I didn't care about any of the details. I was like, it'll be great. I'm not worried.
Right.
And I think that there's like sometimes wedding planners, and she was very nice, but like they're like, but what about this flower versus that flower? And it's like, it'll be great.
But you're an example who got married for the right reasons. You decided to get married when your dad was sick.
Yes.
And you looked at Ben and talk about truly epitomizing why you were getting married. That on its face will help you focus on the right things, not the napkins.
Not the napkins.
Now, I, as a person who hates weddings, what if the person is just so excited about the fact that this is going to be a day that is unlike all other days for them? What if that's
great?
Is that good?
That's good, but when you make everyone like some of these things, they had one time a bride made her future husband buy a second diamond ring because one hand looked empty next to the engagement.
What?
That's getting hung up on the wrong details. If you're just excited for your
wedding... And he married her anyway?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And see, for me, I think, and I know not everybody believes in God and not everybody subscribes to what I believe, but for me, it was a religious experience. I mean, it's the blending of two families.
And you're supposed to be a religious experience.
That too.
Why do people yell, oh, God?
That too. But But you're uniting before your family and your friends and taking an oath under God.
You're asking
and
people
so
to support
and to
the
support
relationship.
that relationship, and for it to really work, you have to mean it. I mean, who cares what shoes
but
you're
you know
wearing?
what, Sonny? It's naive to think that people go into marriage with all of that going on. A lot of people are like, I got him. I'm going to be married now. I'm going to have a different kind of life. They're not taking it
Marriage
seriously.
is too hard.
Well, they don't. People don't know that. I'm a victim. I was married first, and I'm divorced, right? So I didn't. I turned myself in. I did not look at it as a serious issue.
Yeah, it's too hard to go into it
you
thinking
throw
about
a lot of money in there, so if you don't realize that it's
So
truly a symbol of every day after the actual ceremony.
Well, see, that didn't happen to me because my mother said to me, I said, we have no money for this wedding. And my mother said, don't worry, the Italians will bring money. And they did. And they paid for the wedding.
And they paid for it.
It didn't cost me a dime.
I just hope that the IRS doesn't come looking for the cut you just told them you didn't get back. We'll be right back. Welcome back. My SNL avatar, Kenan Thompson, is the longest-running cast member who just completed his 15th season on the show.
Wow.
And he says that for the first time, maybe he's thinking about the option of leaving. But it's something that kind of scares him because it's a big, big change.
But who's going to play you?
There may not be a need to play me. Just saying.
It's so good.
There he is.
It's so good.
Whoopi and I are both played by men. It's like, can we find women to play us?
Clearly not.
I guess not.
But have you, I mean, is
I
it
think it's
scary?
a tough time with SNL because you see some people that make it, and it's such a dream job, I think, for a comedian. Like you watch it, it's such an iconic brand. But I also understand that you stay long enough, and then you wonder, is there more for me? And if you, my dad once told me, you can't swim in the deep end while you hold on to the side of the wall.
That's right.
And I think that's kind of what he's facing right now. Is what's next for him? Is there something more?
My mother said, don't learn to swim because then you'll drown. That's what my mother said.
Our mothers must have known each other. I think it's, you know, I'm notoriously risk averse, but when it comes to career, it's the one place that I've been willing to take a risk. It was a huge risk for me to leave a legal practice to try television, and it was really, really scary because I had 2 children. We had just bought a big house, and in retrospect, I don't know what the heck I was thinking, but I felt like I need to try it because if I don't want to live that life of woulda, shoulda, coulda. And, you know, maybe Kenan is feeling like what else is out there for me? Yeah, but it's still very scary.
15 is a long time.
Yeah, I've been watching Kenan Thompson my entire life. He was on all that on Nickelodeon.
That's right.
Incredible. Kenan and Kel.
Yeah.
So good. And then I actually interned I was one of Warren Michaels' interns at SNL, many incarnations of my life, and he was working there then. Lovely dude. SNL is such a family. Sure, like any show, it would be hard to leave.
Are you a risk taker?
And, oh, yeah. I go into every job every day just assuming I'm going to be fired, and then I'm going to have to come up with something else. So, yeah.
Everything looks better from that point.
Yeah, it does.
Pull the trigger, roll the dice, just keep rolling the dice. It's fine. Maybe you'll end up on The View someday. But I will say that he is so talented. You're going to be fine. You're so funny. You're so talented. You're going to be fine.
And, well, you know, this is, I guess, blends right in with that, but Sex and the City alum Cynthia Nixon is using her celebrity to campaign for governor of New York by selling hats and shirts with the slogan, I'm a Miranda and I'm voting for Cynthia. What do you think?
I'm a Miranda?
So
I guess her name on the show was Miranda, right?
Yeah.
This is part of a brand where people already sometimes probably confuse the real person with the character.
Yes.
And I don't know how many people are voting for a Miranda. You know, like, Charlotte was probably conservative, but she had a lot of heart. And a part of me thinks if she were selling herself, Samantha could mean exciting times ahead.
Harvard-educated lawyer is what she's selling, right?
Yeah, but she wasn't everybody's favorite character.
I liked her. I liked the lawyer in her.
She was a serious girl.
Who was
like her, like Cynthia.
Who loved Miranda? Raise your hand.
But she
she's not going to win the election.
I think it could backfire. I mean, I was a Sex and the City fan. I can't believe it's been 20 years. But again, I know that we have a reality star in the White House, but how about someone with, I know that, but how about someone with experience? I mean, she's never run an organization. She's never been in public office. Why not start with city council or start with the mayor or
Here's the thing about it. I think she's been doing a lot for education.
She's an advocate.
She may or may not win, but she is putting a fire under Andrew Cuomo's behind.
Yes.
And like she wants to legalize recreational marijuana. She wants to restore voting rights to felons. There's a public housing crisis.
We got a felon in the office.
The subway. She wants to fix the subway too, which is her big platform.
Now this is the interesting thing. In 2016, Cuomo directed the MTA, which is a subway system, to give $4.9 million to bail out 3 ski resorts upstate that were hurting from warm weather. Now that money, she said, give it to the subway system. So she is actually a thorn in his side, which is good for him.
Sarah and I take the subway to work every day. I ride the subway all day, every day in the city. If she can fix I am a conservative Republican. If she can fix the AC train, I will buy every bag that she has.
So Cynthia, here's my bitch. Here's my bitch.
Okay.
There are a lot of public housing here. Get the mold out.
Yep.
Right. She's interested in public housing.
Take care of the mold.
Right.
I haven't heard anybody say anything about that. So I haven't heard Andrew Cuomo say much about it. I haven't heard anybody, any of the candidates say, hey, you know, there's nothing there. So that's something that I think a whole bunch of people could get behind because when people live like human beings and are treated that way, the whole city does better. The state does better. But call me crazy. We'll be right back. Most obituaries honor the high points of a person's life, but not for one of the Minnesota women, Kathleen Demlow. Her kids, Gina and Jay, kind of wrote that she was not the greatest mother, and they, you know, it's not a very nice obit. But they do say that, you know, they will now, for the first time, have the last word. You know, and they, you know, because they're very angry. They were very angry, but they said that writing this helped them sort of get through it.
I'm sure it was cathartic. I mean, apparently, if the obit is accurate, she had an affair with her brother-in-law and then left the children.
Oh, who doesn't do that?
And then left the children and started a new family. And it's something that they never got over.
Yeah. Well, they said in the obit, she passed away, will now face judgment. She will not be missed by Gina and Jay.
She will not be missed.
And they understand that this world is a better place without her.
Yeah.
Wow.
So can I tell you, during the election, this obituary, I laughed for days about this. Faced with the prospect of voting for either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton, Marianne Noland of Richmond chose instead to pass into the eternal love of God. I laughed so hard. She'd rather die than vote in the last election.
You know, this kind of puts a lot of people on report. Like, you better watch your P's and Q's and behave yourself in this life. A lot of people care what they say about you after you're dead.
That story that we covered here about the man was on his deathstory and his wife lied to him because he said he couldn't pass if Trump was president. He said he didn't win and he passed peacefully. Sorry. Bit of a downer, but that was funny at the time.
But people seem to be very upset that this family did this.
I think they pulled the obit, right? I think they pulled. It has since been pulled from online. Yeah, being told in my ear.
Also, she's meeting her maker and judgment, and whatever mistakes she made, she is now on and probably atoning for that.
I never understand. Don't speak ill of the dead. Why not? They're not there to hear it anymore.
That's true.
If that's a good time,
that's
to do it. Yeah.
And if it makes you feel better.
Talk about talking behind somebody's back.
No.
You know?
All right.
It's a perfect time to tell the truth about people.
Well, and why? If that's the only people left to write about her, and that's how they feel about her, means there weren't a lot of people close to her. Because you don't take the kids that don't like you and say, I'm going to leave this to you.
Exactly.
You know what it reminds me of? Joan Crawford and those kids who wrote that book, Mommy Dearest.
Mommy Dearest.
Well, I'm going to have the last. Well, you were nasty bitch to me, and now I'm going to have have the last word.
That's how we used to get in trouble with my mom. She'd say, just say yes, and be like, yes, Mommy, dear. And like, you were grounded.
Oh my God. You would say, Mommy, dearest, to your mother?
Well, we knew it was like that moment under your breath, and you knew you were so asking for it, but getting it out felt so good.
Yeah.
You were.
But she had supersonic hearing.
Oh, she knew it was coming.
it wasn't
She'd wait for that pause of breath where she knew we were saying it.
Oh my God.
My brother and I spent so much time in getting grounded on
You
that
would
one.
be in trouble on that one.
Yeah.
Mom, dearest.
Tell everybody where you were, Sonny.
Well, last night I was at the Bright Focus Foundation in D.C. at the National Cathedral, and if you know anything about the Bright Focus Foundation, it is a foundation that celebrates research scientists for Alzheimer's and glaucoma. And it was just incredible because a lot of the scientists that are at the forefront of this fight against those diseases were there explaining to lay people, politicians, celebrities, where their work is. And they actually think that there's going to be a cure in the next few years for Alzheimer's. And my grandmother, it was amazing. And my grandmother passed away from Alzheimer's. And so it's a cause very close to my heart.
I don't know if you know the answer to this, but is there a connection between Alzheimer's and glaucoma?
Well, no. But they're fighting different diseases. And Helen Keller's niece was there and presented some of the awards for people that are also working on the glaucoma front. But it was just an extraordinary group of people.
As the minutes go by, I hope they find a cure too.
Yes, yes. But they're working on it. They're working on it.
Joy could have been your plus one.
Yeah, we're coming back.
Can Stormy Daniels prove that her ex-lawyer was really a puppet for Trump? Could Harvey Weinstein actually walk out of court a free man? Nancy Grace and Dan Abrams on the hottest legal topics next. Tomorrow on The View, the weekend starts early with red hot topics.
Oh, yeah.
And we're getting our money on, because Niecy Nash and Rob Reiner are both hitting the table. TGIF. Tomorrow on The View on ABC. Let's go!
The sparks always fly when these two lay down the law on each other. So here to make their case about the hottest legal topics, welcome back Nancy Grace and Dan Abrams. Good to see both of you. Let's get right into some hot topics. So, Stormy Daniels. She filed a new lawsuit yesterday.
Another 3 in 3 months.
Yes.
3.
So she files this new lawsuit yesterday claiming her former attorney, Keith Davidson.
Using a stripper name.
We
all have a stripper name, right?
Although I asked her when she was here. I asked her when she was here, would she prefer us to call her Stephanie Clifford, and she said no, Stormy Daniels. So anyway, she claims her old attorney, Keith Davidson, colluded with Trump's fixer, Michael Cohen. Does she win that case?
No, she's not going to win that case. But let me tell you, when you sleep around on your wife and you're headed toward the White House, that is asking for trouble. I don't know what Trump was thinking when he did that.
Yeah.
I don't care about her being a porn star. You know what? Unless it has crime scene tape around it, I don't care.
But
so she can be a porn star.
getting away with it.
Oh, well, yeah. But as far as the lawsuit, Dan, agree, disagree. That was her lawyer. What they're talking about is showing texts between Cohen, connected to Trump, and her old lawyer about how Trump was allegedly trying to hush her up. That's attorney-client privilege, but that's not their fault.
There's a difference between sort of making a bar complaint against someone and saying, well, my lawyer wasn't representing me appropriately and saying that a civil lawsuit is going to be won. I don't think they're going to win a civil lawsuit here.
You can't lay that on the
bottom line is they've made an $130,000 deal, and the deal was don't talk. And
well, they call it a non-disclosure. The other side calls it a bribe.
The attorney-client privilege is the very bedrock of American law. So if those two are in bed together, isn't that, no pun intended, isn't that a problem?
A problem maybe for the Bar Association to address, meaning with regard to her client. The notion that she's going to win money damages because they had agreed, because the two of them, lawyers talk all the time, even from on opposing sides, particularly when they're talking about a settlement. And after a settlement, you say, look, here's what our agreement was. Are we cool with this? Are we going to move forward? Is this okay?
Well, I disagree with both of you, but...
Okay, wait a minute. What Dan is saying...
Yes, I do. I think Avenatti is pretty skilled. I know that he's blocked you on Twitter, though, Dan.
Yeah, you know, he blocked me on Twitter.
Why?
I guess. I mean, honestly, at first I didn't know why.
And now you know.
Well, I have a site called Law and Crime, which has written some things which have been critical of him. They've also written things that have supported him. When he saw the things critical of him, he immediately apparently blocked me and blocked Law and Crime. And I guess he doesn't like it when I say I don't think he's going to win this lawsuit, but that's, you know, that's the way the world is.
Lawsuits, he's not going to win.
Well, Dave Wedge, a spokesman for Keith Davidson, called the lawsuit outrageously frivolous. So he agrees with me.
There you go.
Okay, can we move on? So the president just commuted the sentence of Alice Marie Johnson. We were talking about it earlier, serving a life sentence without parole, first-time nonviolent drug offense. She was accused of being the queen pin of a drug operation. What do you think of this?
I don't have a problem with commuting the sentence. The question becomes the process, right? There has to be some level of consistency in the process. So either we're going to say nonviolent drug offenders who commit this sort of crime aren't going to serve this kind of time across the board, whether Kim Kardashian comes in or not. I mean, and that's got to be the standard. I mean, the standard can't be when Kim Kardashian comes in, then we make changes. If you can't get Kim Kardashian on your side, then you're going to serve life. I mean, there's got to be a level of consistency.
I think on this, she was not a drug user. I advocate treatment, rehab, no jail for a first-time drug user. She was part of a scheme to distribute drugs. That's, which I think deserves jail time. That said, life without parole, 21 years behind bars is way wrong.
That's crazy. Okay, here's one for you, Nancy. Meredith Vieira was here yesterday, and she's one of the more than 80 women accusing Harvey Weinstein of sexual misconduct. Now, Harvey was just indicted on charges of rape and criminal sexual acts connected to 2 women. So is there any chance he walks away a free man in this case?
You know what, Dan and I disagree on this. In fact, we had a big fight about it in Chicago just the night before last. Is there a chance?
Yeah.
Yes, there is a chance he can walk, especially with Brofman as his defense lawyer, who is, I would say, the best defense lawyer in the state of New York. You never know what's going to happen with a jury choice.
How would he walk? I mean, Bill Cosby is not walking.
He's not in jail yet.
No.
He's at home now having a private chef make him brunch.
It's only...
I've never seen a man get convicted of rape or sex assault. No. That's when you get fingerprinted and you get taken out of the courtroom in handcuffs. Why is he at home?
He only needs one juror. He only needs one juror.
But one juror would hang the case, and they would try him again.
Or
there's no question they would try him again. In this environment, no question.
It's
if there's a
about
hung
time.
jury,
No thanks to Cyrus Vance.
Well, look, and that's a separate question. He's the DA in Manhattan and got a lot of criticism for not charging Harvey Weinstein earlier. But look, there's one of these cases we don't know anything about. Right? We know about the 2004 incident.
One of the victims has remained anonymous.
Right. And the facts,
not uncommon.
It's not just the victim. The facts surrounding it remain. So I can't even say whether I think that there's going to be a good chance or not.
Why should you, Dan Abrams? It's none of your business just because you're in the media.
You were just talking about whether you thought there'd be a conviction, and then I shouldn't talk about it.
I'm saying that there's always a chance that somebody can walk, even with a strong case.
Okay,
However, in this case, based on the one charge that we know about, there should be a conviction. Rape victims often go by like their first letter or Jane Doe because for some reason they feel like it's their fault.
No, I get. But we just don't. We're going to learn more about the 2013 case.
I think Nancy's right.
About what? I mean, what about
everything?
I'm just trying to figure out, what did I get wrong?
By the way, Weinstein himself has denied all allegations of non-consensual sex and has pleaded not guilty to the charges in the case. He claims that it was all consensual.
Such a nice way to put it, Joy.
Why would anybody have consensual sex with him anyway?
Sounds like putting perfume on a pig. It's rape.
You know, Nancy, when you're not talking about crime on TV and radio, you're writing fictional Hallmark movies about everything. You've written a new one called Haley Dean Mysteries. It's out this month. My mother is obsessed with this.
It's Sunday night at 9 o'clock Eastern on the Hallmark Movie and Mystery.
Do you ever get sick of this kind of thing?
No. I love solving mysteries and I love solving crimes. And the thing I love about Haley Dean is that at the end of those books, it's solved, and you get a nice, clean, understandable ending, and justice is always served.
Of course.
And I can't think of a better partner than Hallmark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's
9 o'clock Sunday night. Dan and I will be watching it together.
And then, Dan, we have to talk about your fabulous new book. You have a new book out this week. It takes us back to Abraham Lincoln's last big murder trial before he became president. What can you tell us about it?
This is the only transcript that exists of any case Abraham Lincoln has ever argued. It was only discovered in 1989 in a box with a bow around it in the garage of the great-grandson of the defendant.
Wow.
And we laid out this murder case. It's a self-defense case, really compelling case, with Lincoln for the defense. And we tell the whole story surrounding this transcript.
And it's, no one ever took notes.
I'm not to give it away.
No one ever took notes on what Lincoln
You weren't. There was no such thing as transcribing really back then. So it was really. This is the same transcriber who did the Lincoln-Douglas debates. And it was a new field, so it was really rare to have transcripts of anything.
It is fascinating. Lincoln was a lawyer.
A defense lawyer, believe it or not.
At times.
Thanks to Nancy Grace and Dan Abrams. You can catch Nancy's Haley Dean Mystery Series the next 2 Sunday nights on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries.
Woo!
Dan's book, Lincoln's Last Trial, is available now. And guess what, audience?
Guess
You're all going home with a copy.
Tomorrow, actor and director Rob Reiner reveals why the White House war with the media started long before Trump took office. Plus, Niecy Nash is getting her claws out at the Hot Topics table.
My gosh. Strip club conversations and conversations about all kinds of stuff. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming. Everybody have a great day and take a little time to enjoy the view.